This Chazar Zechinish Bachas Shag Rabbi Yehuda B'Sechas Chullin Daf Tzadik Ches. The Gemara has quoted the ruling of Rav Nachman that an egg becomes bottled in 60, but the Osir egg itself is not counted in the count of 60. Rav Yehuda Bar Avin asked Abaye, we find that eggs do not impart flavor into the things that they're cooked. Abaye said we're discussing an egg with a chick inside, which does impart flavor. However, a regular egg of a non-kosher bird would not give off flavor. The Gemara Brisa says if kosher eggs were cooked together with non-kosher eggs, if the non-kosher eggs impart flavor into the kosher eggs, they're all Osir. We see that even regular eggs do impart flavor. And for the Brisa is also talking about an egg with a chick inside. Since it has a chick inside, the Brisa refers to it as a non-kosher egg. For the Brisa continues and says if eggs were cooked and an unhatched chick was found in one of them, if that egg with the chick imparts a flavor in the other eggs, they're all also. Now, since this part of the Brisa clearly discusses an egg with a chick, it must be that the earlier parts of the Brisa discussing an egg without a chick. And for the second part of the Brisa is explaining the first part of the Brisa and says when the Brisa says non-kosher egg, it's referring to an egg with a chick inside. This must be the way to understand the Brisa Zaktamar, because if you're going to say that the first part of the Brisa is discussing where there's no chick, then now in the case where there's no chick, the Brisa says that the eggs become users, and surely in a case where it had a chick, they would become usher, and there would be no reason to even state the second part of the Brisa altogether. The Gemara said no, it's not a valid proof, because it may be that the second case is mentioned to make it clear that it's a second case that's discussing an egg with a chick, and the first case is not. There was a kazayis of chayla that fell into a pot of meat. Rav Ashi was measuring to see if there was 60 times the isser and wanted to include it into the calculation of the 60, all the food that was absorbed into the walls of the pot. The Rabbanan said to him, do you think that the walls only absorb mutter things and not other things? Mar says it was a half kazayas chayla that fell into a pot of meat. Mar Bar Rav Ashi wanted to make it bottle by measuring that there were to see if there were 30 half kazasim of heter. His father told him, I told you that you may not treat their measurements lightly, even when dealing with the drabanan dekei yisurim. Also, Rabbi Yochanan said that chatzi shir half shiurim, like a half kazayas, is actually also even deraisa. Mar continues. Hashem bar Abba, the name of Rav Idi bar Gershom, in the name of Levi bar Prota, in the name of Rav Nachman, in the name of Rav Biryam, the name of a certain elder who was Rabbi Yaakov, said, in the house of the Nasi, they said, if an Osir egg was cooked with 60 of heter, they're Osir. If it was cooked with 61, mutter. Rav Zera said to Rav Shem bar Abba, you're stating something that's a matter of question between the great Rabbi Yaakov bar Idi and Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, who both said in the name of Rav Shmuel bar Levi that an Osir egg that was cooked with 60 eggs, the eggs are Osir. If it was cooked with 61, the eggs are mutter. They asked, is the Osir egg allowed to be counted as one of the 61, or does it have to be 61 besides the Osir egg? Now you, Rav Shem bar Abba, seem to clearly state that the 61 can even include the Osir egg. The Gemara says, Rav in the name of Rav Huna said, an Osir egg that was cooked in 60 eggs plus itself is Osir. If it was cooked in 61 eggs plus itself, it's mutter. Talking about that person came with a mixture of Isser and Heter, where there was 40 times as much Heter as there was Isser. Rabbi Gamliel told him, my father would not say it was mutter even if there was 47 times as much heter, so I certainly cannot be matter this mixture. A person came with a mixture of Isser and heter where there was 43 times as much heter as there was Isser. Shimon bar Rebbe told him, my father would not say it was mutter even if there was 45 times as much heter, so I certainly cannot be matter this mixture. A person came with a mixture to Rav Chia. Rav Chia told him, you don't have even 30 times as much heter and as there is Isser, so I can't say that it's mutter. Correct. The Gemara, this seems to say that if there was 30 times as much, he would have been matir it. And if the Gemara, Chanina said, Rav Chia's response should not be taken literally. He meant to say, you don't even have 30 times, and you're asking whether we can be matir it. So Rav Shmuel said, all other things in the Torah become bottled in 60. Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchak said to him, Rebbe, do you really say that? We find that Rav Asi and Rav Shmuel and Rav Kapara said, all other things in the Torah become bottled in 100. The Gemara says that they both based their views from the cooked leg of the Nazir's carbon shlomim, where the part that's only mutter to the kohen is cooked along with the rest of the ram. The view that says things become bottled in 60 holds that we measure the meat and bones of the leg given to the kohen against the meat and bones of the rest of the ram, and that's the ratio 1 to 60. The other says that we only measure the meat of the part given to the kohen against the meat of the rest of the ram, and that's a ratio of 1 to 100. In fact, Mar Brisa says that the allowance for a non-kohen to eat the Nazir's ram, even though it was cooked together with the leg that's only permitted to the kohen, is a unique allowance. Presumably this means that we can't learn from there to other cases of Yisum in the Torah. After Gemara, Abaye said the Brisa means it's unique according to Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that items of like kind that became mixed do not become bottled. The Brisa says in the case of the Nazir's ram, it does become bottled. Why don't we learn from the Nazir's ram to other cases of like kind mixtures that to teach that they become bottled? After Gemara, we learn from the pasuk of V'lochach midam apar midam asoyer that a like kind mixture does not become bottled even though the two bloods are mixed together. The pasuk refers to them as two different bloods. Why do we choose to learn from the pasuk of the bloods instead of learning from the case of the Nazir's ram? And for the more, the case of the Nazir's ram is the chiddush, because it's the case in which we lechatchila mix things and make it bottle, which is something that we're typically not allowed to do. Therefore, we cannot learn from over there. In fact, if so, we should not even learn out the 160 or the 1 to 100 ratio from there either. And for the more, learning this ratio is a chumrah, because the right other things become bottle in a simple majority. To learn a chumrah, we do even from a chiddush.